I went ahead and went online on those forums. If you guys are familiar, I was like, if that's what they're saying, then that's obviously the truth, because she would have responded by now. And if she's testing me, all right, great. I'm gonna wait this out. I'm gonna, prove to her that I could wait, because once I wait a long enough time and she ends up calling or texting me, she's gonna feel more attracted to me because she'll know that I definitely didn't fall under pressure and give in and text her. So here I was, super excited for this new challenge, but unfortunately, nothing changed. I waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and still nothing. Still, I didn't get anything out of this girl. She still never called back or never texted back. So at this point, I just gave up and I said, it's over. It's a lose-lose situation. So when I was 20 years old, I had gone on my very first date ever. I was very well prepared, or so I thought, because I was following this dating coach online, I was consuming his content, I was following his program, and to the best of my knowledge, I was doing every single thing right on that date. The date went very well, much better than I expected, because it was my very first date ever. Surprisingly, I was not nervous. I was very confident. I knew what to say. I knew how to talk. And long story short, she went home, and after she went home, she texted me. She said she had a great time. My head was in the clouds because of that. I was so happy. I felt so successful because it was my very first date ever. And at the same time, I succeeded at making this woman feel happy and feel like she had a great time. Unfortunately, after the date, things changed for the worse. The reason why things changed for the worse was because I was acting out of character. I was acting non-naturally. I was following this dating coach's program to the T, to the best of my knowledge, and I was doing exactly everything he said. The type of questions I should ask, when I should respond to the text versus when not to respond to the text. If she texts you after 7 p.m., just respond the very next day so you could appear busy. The phone is for setting dates, it's not for getting to know a person. When she texts you, don't give too much information away, but instead keep that for the intrigue so that she can be intrigued, so that you can ignite her feelings and attraction in person. This girl would even text me certain things and I'd respond, but I'd respond very blandly and very boring responses that don't create attraction in the slightest. She'd ask me, are you familiar with this show? I'd just be like, no. She'd also ask me things like, you're not really that much of a good texter, are you? I would just like, no, I'm not. Instead of incorporating humor and being playful and bringing her guard down and making her emotionally comfortable with me, the best of my knowledge at the time, because I was well-intentioned, I did the complete opposite. I was acting very non-naturally because I followed this dating coach's program. And listen, this guy is a good dating coach. I'm not gonna tell you who he is. But the problem with me was I blindly followed his advice because I was inexperienced. I wanted to get a specific result out of following his advice by making this woman feel a certain way towards me. So long story short, we actually ended up going out on a second date, and the second date was pretty good, but it just wasn't as good as the first date. And she seemed to enjoy her time, but after that, we still stayed in touch. We were texting, we were calling sometimes. But again, I was being my non-natural self, stupid me. I was responding like a robot, not being free, not being loose, not being vulnerable, which I talked about in a few videos ago. I'd highly recommend you watch it, and I'll also link it down in the description below. But long story short, sometime after that second date, when we would text back and forth and I'd take forever to respond back just like an idiot, because I wasn't doing it authentically because I was authentically busy. I was doing it because I was looking for a reaction out of her. Oh my God, stupid me. But anyways, one day she said that she was going to call me at night because she was missing in action. I had texted her about something and then she took like a day or two to respond, but then she actually ended up getting back to me about a day or two later, and then she was just like, so sorry about that. I'm gonna call you tonight if it's okay. And then I was like, no problem. I'll wait for your call tonight. Long story short, she never called. And I was devastated. I was hurt. I felt like absolute trash, bro. Because here I was doing everything right, quote unquote, thinking I did everything right, when really that thing that I didn't do, or those things that I didn't do, are what led to her feeling emotionally uncomfortable around me, or emotionally awkward, because she was emotionally uncomfortable with me. She didn't feel emotionally comfortable to do that with me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, how the fuck is this not working? I'm following this coach's advice, yet still I'm being treated as a ghost, as a person who never existed to this woman. And check this out, it gets even worse. As badly as I wanted to call her, I held myself from calling her because here's the thing. According to these gurus online, these coaches, they're saying if a woman never returns your call or text, you should never call her back. Which, yes, that is true. However, it's not so black and white. There are exceptions to the rule. There's way more depth to it, which I will cover in a bit. So you see, man, the red pill community has grown tremendously in the last few years on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, just all of social media in general. And the men in this community, although they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of what they're saying is right, but a lot of what they're saying is also wrong, because here's the thing. These men are trying to sell you the fact that a lot of women are on this wavelength where they'll only talk to you if you're a certain way. She'll only look your way if you're a certain way. She'll only mess with you and go on a date with you only if you make X amount of dollars, this, that, and the other. However, though, if you're experienced like me and you have a decent level of knowledge, you'll understand that although a lot of it is right, a lot of it is also wrong, because here's the thing. It is very one-dimensional. Not just that, it also comes from the fact that many of these men are wounded masculine men, not healthy masculine men. What does this mean? This means that if you come from a background where, let's say, both of your parents were divorced, you've seen your family member get cheated on, you've seen that happen, and then that led to a divorce. You've seen another woman cheat on her boyfriend behind her boyfriend's back, and you've seen and you grew up seeing all these things. Of course, that's going to cloud your judgment in terms of what women respond to, what women don't respond to, the facts of how things actually are versus my opinion or the environment I was in to make my conclusion about those facts. And because of the fact that a lot of these men are wounded masculine, they want you to adopt the same mindset, such as, she's never yours, it's just your turn. If you make under 6 figures, she's gonna cheat on you even if she's with you at first. If you aren't ripped and you're not this jacked dude, no woman's ever gonna look your way. That's a very wounded masculine approach, and not just that. It is one-dimensional because it is bringing this population, this small group of the population, right, that had this issue, but the other part of the equation that wasn't said was a lot of these women whom these men dealt with were wounded feminine women. They weren't normal women. Again, wounded feminine women, not healthy feminine women. The type of women where they grew up in a household where mom and dad were deeply in love. Mom was very feminine, dad was very masculine, so that created a strong attraction. Their friends have been married in successful marriages. Their cousins, same thing. They all have positive things to say about either their wives or their husbands, whatever, depending on which one you're talking about. So if you think about it from just an objective standpoint, that's very biased. You see what I'm saying? So back to my story. So after I saw that happened, I went ahead and went online on those forums. If you guys are familiar, there's like forums for people in the red pill community, which basically are a group of people who have the same limited ideology about women, just like I was explaining earlier. So I went on there and I was asking the question, what to do if a woman says she will call you later, but she never does. And so I saw that another man had asked that question, that same exact question. So I was just like, let me click on it. And then I saw a bunch of comments and several men asking very similar questions. They all said things like, if she said she was going to call you, but she never did, never call her, because that's only her way of testing you. So of course, me being me, I was like, if that's what they're saying, then that's obviously the truth, because she would have responded by now. And if she's testing me, all right, great. I'm gonna wait this out. I'm gonna, prove to her that I could wait, because once I wait a long enough time and she ends up calling or texting me, she's gonna feel more attracted to me because she'll know that I definitely didn't fall under pressure and give in and text her. So here I was, super excited for this new challenge, but unfortunately, nothing changed. I waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and still nothing. Still, I didn't get anything out of this girl. She still never called back or never texted back. So at this point, I just gave up and I said, fuck it, it's over. It's a lose-lose situation, because if I call or texted her, she's gonna see me as super weak and she's gonna lose attraction for me. And if she doesn't call, she's just not interested. So I saw it as lose-lose, because according to the men in this community, they said, if you call her or text her, then it's 100% over, because then she's testing you, you lost the test, you prove that you're pathetic and weak and you're a simp and you're a beta male. So obviously that clouded my judgment. I was like, fuck, I definitely shouldn't be doing this. Instead, I waited, but she never ended up calling or texting back. Now, it wasn't until a year or two later that, looking back, I actually really understood what happened. But here's exactly what happens. This girl reacted that way with me, and she didn't reach out because she didn't feel like I was emotionally vulnerable enough, and she just felt like I was being too cold and I'm playing this game. Like I'm not really being my true self, and which is true, I wasn't. That's the exact reason why she wasn't hitting me up afterwards. And that just made her feel emotionally awkward. Think about that. Think about the face that you would make when you hear that word, emotionally awkward. Probably looks something like this, like, it's just weird. It's disgusted in a way. It doesn't look pleasant. At least it doesn't sound pleasant. This girl at first, she was super into me. And also a good thing about her was she seemed pretty emotionally vulnerable, meaning the feelings that she has on the inside are the same things that she's showing on the outside. Me, on the other hand, I was completely far from that. The feelings on the inside were that I really, really liked her, but on the outside, I put on this fake mask because that's what's going to make me higher value or more masculine, or that's what's going to make her chase me. And honestly speaking, sure, she probably should have called or texted me because she wasn't interested. But let's be completely honest. That was actually my fault. It was my fault because I wasn't being me. I wasn't being fully me, at the very least, at least not fully me. She felt like these things aren't adding up. This guy wants to take me out, but here he is when he's texting me. He's texting me as though he doesn't give two shits about me. One-word responses, even though internally I want to text her like a paragraph. She gets the vibe that he's playing these games with me, and she just didn't like it. Now that was exactly why she hadn't responded to me or hadn't called me or explained anything to me. Now with that information you have right there, what would the typical red pillar tell you? They're gonna tell you, nah man, you see, all these hoes aren't loyal. They're gonna monkey branch from one guy to the next. She just met someone else who she had strong feelings for. They're all garbage. Saying things like those are like the male equivalent of a woman saying, all men are trash, all men do is cheat, and no man is loyal. That's basically the male equivalent of those words coming out of a woman. So to be completely honest, if you think when women say that it's cringe, then you can't really say that if you're out here saying the same thing about women. All women are gonna monkey branch you. She's never yours, it's just your turn. Those things to me are very cringe if I'm being completely honest with you. Now listen, sure, there are women out there who are trash. Yes, that's true. There are women out there who cheat. Unfortunately, yes, that's true. Low value women. Yes, that's true. Women who monkey branch from man to man to man to man to man. Yes, that's true. But that doesn't mean that there aren't good women out there. And also, when we dig deeper to the root cause of the issue, not the fucking superficial cause, the root cause, we should see first and make sure that it's not our fault for why a woman's responding one way versus the other. Because here's the thing, you only have control over what you can respond. You don't have any control of how she will respond. What you have control over is your communication, your presence, your charisma, your connection, everything, your appearance, your style, how you make her feel, or at least how you try to, but you can't control how they're gonna respond. So the bottom line was, for me, the root cause of the issue was myself. I wasn't being emotionally vulnerable enough. I had this mask on, this fake mask. But wait a second. Just because that approach is too red-pilled doesn't excuse you to be in La La Land and take the blue pill, which is what? The blue pill is basically the idea that the woman of your dreams is gonna come knocking on your door if you just wait long enough. You're gonna get the money you want if you just pray to God. There's a 0% chance that any woman will cheat. All women are angels. So the bottom line is, if you don't bring some sort of value to the table, women will not find you attractive. If you don't look physically appealing to that woman, she will not find you attractive. If you're too soft, weak, and a wimp, women will find you unattractive. If you are not confident about yourself, women will not find you attractive. However, if you do just some work on yourself, I would say a period of 3 to 6 months, closer to 6, if you are unattractive right now, there are many women, yes, many women, who will consider you attractive if you work on yourself for a long enough time in terms of everything, right? Your social confidence, your physical confidence, being in shape, your finances, everything, your conversation skills, your social skills, everything. I have tons of detailed videos on my channel that cover that. I'm even going to link several in the description below. But that being said, there are lots of good women out there. How do I know this? Well, first, I was connected in some way, shape, or form to many women who were good women. That's the first. The second, I know of women whom were very good women to their husbands, even when times were tough. Yes, even when he was broke as a joke and he had to build an empire, and she stuck by his side until he built that empire. Yes, women like those exist. Instead of what a lot of these red pillars teach you, which is if you lost your job tomorrow, she'll leave you the day right after. Which, sure, some women are like that. Yes, that's the truth. That's just a fact of life. Some women are just like that. They're very, not only selfish, but again, wounded feminine women. Even examples from my own family members. My grandma and grandpa back in the day. My grandma liked my grandpa not because he was the richest person ever, because truth be told, he was very average, maybe barely above average. He had a managerial position at work, and she really liked him because he had this charm about him. Well, people just really loved talking to him. Everybody did, not just women. So because he was able to charm her, and she saw that about him, she found that very attractive, and therefore she fell for him, and the rest is history. So the question here is, what do you do from this point on? What pill do you take from here on out? Well, the pill that you don't take is the red pill, which is the extreme negative pill, or the blue pill, which is the pill that says everything is, perfectly fine and dandy, and you're just in la la land. The pill you should take from now on is the pill of personal development, the pill of growth. That pill. I'm not gonna give you black pill, red pill, blue pill, yellow pill, pink pill, brown pill, rainbow pill. I don't give a shit about any of those. I give a shit about your own personal development. That's what you should focus on most. Bettering yourself as a person, self-improvement, growth, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in every way, shape, or form. Because at the end of the day, man, you attract what you are. If you want a good woman, you have to be a good man. When I say good man, I'm not saying to be a people pleaser or a pushover. I'm just saying to be that kind of man who attracts the kind of woman he wants. If you want a woman who is very physically fit, you have to be that yourself. If you want a woman who is very God conscious, you have to be very God conscious yourself. If you're out here hoeing around and sleeping with 5 different women, yet you have the audacity to expect a woman who's very God conscious and pure and religious, then you're fucking delusional and you're out of your mind. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you and just tell you how it is. All of this, dude, just means that you have to strive to be the best man that you can be. So, if that is something that interests you, I want you to click on the video right now that's on the screen, and I will see you in the next one, man. Peace.